and the Michigan Welfare Rights Organization to bring affordable housing in Detroit.
The views and opinions of the guest and host you hear on 1010 WOLB
are not necessarily those of the staff and management of Radio 1, its sponsors, or advertisers.
It's done unto you as you believe. It's done unto you as you believe.
I'm gonna get there, yes, somehow. Push my way through the crowd. I'm gonna grab you by the hand to a place we will stand. Stand proud, no fear. It's clear, I believe in you. I believe in me. Oh yeah, I believe that we can make this dream a reality. Yeah, yeah. Now's the time to be. Now's the time for miracles. Oh, it's in my heart so deep. 'Cause I believe.
I believe. Oh, yes, I do.
Yes,
Good
Lord.
good morning, Baltimore. Welcome to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People here on this absolutely gorgeous hot day here in the city of Baltimore that is sizzling 24/7. Okay, yeah, it's sizzling. It's sizzling with not only despair, but it's sizzling with hope. You are welcome here. We are so happy that you've joined us here today, as many of you join us every Monday at the same time, and a lot of y'all join us on every Sunday at 3:30 on Spirit 1400, where me and Brother James C. Morant and Brother Richard Terry be holding court up in there, and normally jumps us off for the week. You're welcome here. We're thankful for you. Now we start the day off with, and this is the week's prayer that we start off. So if you're not driving and you want to lay your hands on your radio or your telephone or wherever you are, let us bow our heads together. Oh God, we love you and we thank you for this day. We worship you in the beauty of holiness, WHOLINESS, holiness, not pious, holy. Oh God, we put nothing before you, but we come to you as your people, asking for your kindness and your tender loving mercy to be extended as it always has been, even in the face of evidence to the contrary. We've kept the faith and we keep the faith. Oh Lord, we ask you to bless this congregation, our listeners, everyone within air range of our voices today. Lord, bless them. Some of them are ill, some of them are don't have, some of them have bills closing in on them, some have children that are running awry, some of them, Lord, just can't see their way. But we're asking you right now, Lord, to touch each and every one of us, touch this city, oh God, to lift this malaise, this sadness, oh God. Show us the light, oh God. Open our eyes, open our consciousness, oh God. Take away all the divisive thoughts that come to say, and we look at each other and have jealousies and envies and unnecessary biases that keep us from coming together and working together for the holiness of our people. We thank you for this time together in thy Son Jesus Christ's name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. We bless you, Lord, for this day. I don't know about y'all. Y'all know they diagnosed me with cancer, and even though they think they're going to be able to get it healed, it really is a time of awakening. It's a different time. When you hear people tell you they have cancer, and you go, "Oh, I'm gonna pray for you." But when they tell you you've got it, it's a different story. So for those of you who are suffering from cancer at this point in your lives, we're praying for you, and you be encouraged.
Amen.
My mom always used to say, she says, well, Patrick, she said the first thing it does once they tell you got it is it scares you to death. And so we rebuke the spirit of fear right now. We rebuke it in the name of Jesus, in the name of love, in the name of peace. Stand up and just know and find a way to smile and avoid that stress. I've been having hot flashes so bad, I tell you, poor women, I tell you, I never knew what they was having to go through. Lord, help me, Jesus. I mean, they just get worse and worse because of the medication that they're giving me. They're using an immunotherapy, which is lowering my testosterone to stop the cancer from feeding. Cancer feeds on testosterone for men, and it's prostate cancer. And Lord, I got the sweet tooth of life, and it seems like since I've been diagnosed, I just got to have something sweet. And anything sweet, I don't care whether it's fruit, pies, or whatever, it is just not good for you. Sugar feeds the cancers. So I've been battling, not sleeping well at night, and just never thought I'd have to go through something like this at this stage of my life, being a 70-year-old man, reasonably healthy my whole life. So, well, I tell you, I'm 70. I'll be 71 next January.
My Lord.
Yes, I am, and God is good. I feel like I'm 18. Okay, I do. I do have the energy of an 18-year-old, and I believe that with a child's heart, that we draw nearer to God. Because when we're with a child's heart, we're willing to accept and understand love and seek ways to find it.
Amen.
Well, we've got a great show for you. Please welcome our co-host, my co-host, Mr. Leo Burrows Jr. How are you today, Leo?
Well, good morning, everybody, and praise the Lord and pass the ammunition for justice, decency, and fair play.
Yes, sir. And we know that's what you're going to do because that's what you do everywhere you goes. Please welcome Mr. James C. Moran. How are you today, Jimmy?
I'm doing well. Good morning, Patrick. Good morning, Baltimore.
Good morning to you, sir. Please welcome also, it's been so rare that we get him in the studio. When I walked in and saw him here, I didn't even know he was coming.
Surprise.
Surprise. Our erudite one. Please welcome Mr. Richard Terry. How are you today, Richard?
Well, I'm doing fine, Patrick, and everybody. But when we really get started, as Tommy Lee Jones said in one movie, let's start this party with a bang.
No less. And we have a number of guests today, and so one of our co-hosts, all being the gentleman that he is always taking a back seat in those times to make sure that we can accommodate our guests. Please come on up to this mic and say hi. Please welcome Doc Marvin Doc Cheatham. How are you today, Doc?
You told me to say hi. Hi.
Okay, we know much more is coming later, and we're always honored to have our producer in the studio with us. He's now an employee here with the Radio 1 family, so it's not every chance and opportunity we get to have him in the studio with us. Please welcome Mr. Jason Rodriguez.
Good morning, family. Just want to remind everyone we are now streaming live on Facebook, Periscope, and YouTube, so you can head on over there if you'd like to see everyone in their glory. This morning we have some beautiful guests in our studio, as well as Patrick Henderson, our fabulous host this morning, in all of his glory as well.
Well, bless you, man. God, the Spirit of God is upon me, but he is upon every one of us. Because if you woke up this morning, it was the Spirit of God, that oxygen that woke you up and keeps you going. We always look at what God doing and what he ain't doing. But the one thing he does is it gives us the oxygen to breathe, where without we would not have arisen this morning. So let us be thankful for the simple things. We have a great show planned for you. Our first guest that I'm just so excited to have with us is Miss Abina Disrow. She is a member of the Maryland Council of Elders. She is a poet, a storyteller, playwright, leadership development, and she is a priestess. And I want all of y'all that are on Facebook, y'all need to go look at her. She looks like a priestess. This hat, I tell you what, my mama would have to say, girl, you wearing that in thy name. Okay.
Thank you.
She's wearing that crown in thy name, and the outfit is just perfect. She's wearing the most royal color, purple. Welcome, Miss Abina. Sabino again. How are you today?
I'm blessed by the best, and
Yes,
I
you
thank you for having me in the studio today.
We are thankful that you returned because she's got a big event coming up that we're going to tell you about. And she's also joined by Mr. Rafiki Morris. He's also from the Maryland Council of Elders, and he's here representing the All African People's Revolutionary Party. How are you today, sir?
I'm fine, and I'm glad to be here. Glad you could have us, and we're looking forward to a very, very positive African Liberation Day coming up next.
Tell us about the African Liberation Day. Go ahead.
Okay, well, this year is the 61st year that we're commemorating African Liberation Day. It began in 1958 at the All African People's Conference in Ghana, West Africa. Africans from all over the world had come together as youth organizations, political parties, workers groups, and one of the things they decided was April 15th was going to be Africa Freedom Day. And then 5 years later, at the first summit of the Organization of African Unity in 1963, they changed Africa Freedom Day to African Liberation Day. So we've been celebrating it ever since, all over the world. The first AAO African Liberation Day in the United States was organized by Malcolm X.
His birthday?
Yes, it was 1 week after his birthday, which was yesterday. It was also the birthday of the great Ho Chi Minh. So when my party, the All African People's Revolutionary Party, we've been organizing African Liberation Day since 1976. And here in Baltimore, we're working with a really good brother named Charlie Duggar.
Yes.
Everybody in Baltimore knows Charlie Duggar.
Amen.
And if you don't know Charlie Duggar, you need to get to know Charlie Duggar.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So he has been holding African Liberation Day down in Baltimore here now for over 30 years.
Yes.
And right now, this African Liberation Day in Baltimore is the longest running continuous African Liberation Day on the eastern coast of the United States.
Fabulous. I tell you what, Baltimore, y'all just don't know the power and the history of Baltimore when it comes to monumental milestones in the history of America. The American flag was made here, Betsy Ross. The Star-Spangled Banner was written here. We don't realize we hold a great place, so it is only befitting that these events take place, that they all not only be rekindled, but they be put into the hearts and the minds of all people, young people, coming together. I've been wearing the African colors, Pan-African, and no matter where I go now, people go, "Oh, you got on the Pan-African colors." Right. I will be wearing them for the rest. Y'all can look on the air right now and see me in my red, black, and green. I'm gonna have to wash this shirt. It's getting a little dusty, a little standing on its own. But I'm going to be wearing it because my birthday is January the 15th. I was born on the same day as Martin Luther King, and it took me years to realize what that meant, because I remember my mother not letting us go see him when he came to Dallas because she was scared. She was a sharecropper's daughter, and she had seen the Ku Klux Klan riding across the fields with crosses and hoods on. So Martin Luther King represented fear for her because she felt like when he left town that the Klan was going to rise up and come against the people, so she wouldn't let us go. So here I am, 70 years later, realizing that birth date is something that God blessed me to have, and there's a reason for it. Not just to say I'm born on the same day, but to be able to stand and fight for our people, for justice, and really what is supposed to be the American way. You know, but as we aspire to form a more perfect union, we must realize that we have to fight for it. Power gives up nothing. You have to take it. And the only way you're going to take it, the strongest thing that we have is our vote. But the second thing we have is going to have to be our protest. And our protest, not only marching, but we got to start calling our state and our local politicians. We got to start telling them when we don't like things and make them responsible, which is the title of today's show, The State of the City and the Lack of Accountability. The date for the People's Alliance, for the African Alliance is?
Yes, African Liberation Day here in Baltimore. The dates are for the symposium.
Give us all.
Is Friday, May 24th. Starts at 11 a.m. and ends at 6 p.m. And the symposium will be at the Douglas Memorial Community Church. And that's 1325 Madison Avenue, Baltimore, Maryland. And for those who are listening who do not have a flyer, get your ink pens out. There's going to be a march and a rally on Saturday, the next day, May 25th, beginning at 11 a.m. through 6 p.m. That's going to be at the Lafayette Square Park, West Landvale and North Carrollton Streets. It'll be from 11 a.m. until 6 p.m. We're going to have speakers. I can talk about those speakers a little bit later. Did you want to say anything about the rally at this point?
Yeah, I need to get moving, but it's going to be on the big event to kick it off is May the 24th at Douglas Memorial. What time is that?
That's going to be at 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Douglas Memorial Community Church.
Okay, Douglas Memorial, and on the 25th at Lafayette Park.
Lafayette Square Park.
At what time?
That starts at 11 a.m.
Okay.
Ends at 6 p.m.
11 a.m. to 6. Okay. Go ahead.
Yes, and while I'm speaking, I want to remind everybody that we do have room for vendors.
Okay.
You contact Brother Yaya at 410-419-2999. And we're going to have some great speakers at the symposium. We're going to have Alan Barfield, Veterans for Peace. We're going to have Friends of the Congo. We're going to have Maurice Carney, Dana Al-Serjani, the Palestinian, and there may be some more speakers. So I'm going to give Rafiki a chance to speak a little bit.
Okay. No, I'm going to have to cut you all off. I got another Black Wolves.
Three words.
Yes, come.
3 words. You're talking about changing the conditions in the city of voting and things that people can do. We're saying that what African Liberation Day is about is our people need to be organized.
That's
organization.
And if we want to scare them, if we want to scare this city, should let 5,000 people show up at this Africa at what's the event?
African Liberation
at
Day.
African Liberation Day, and then on August the 17th, Black Wolves, Mosiah. Tell us what's going to be happening on that date on the 17th of August.
Aru, Patrick, I have to say something really fast, and I'm going to come quickly. I know you got a long show, but this is on my spirit. And stick with me because it's going to stick into August 17th.
All right, come quickly.
You know all of this evil and things that we have going on in the world, in the city, and people call themselves children of God, right? So if you are a child of God, wouldn't that mean that you would be superior to evil?
Well, if you're looking for superiority, I suppose so, but go ahead.
Right? Wouldn't that mean you would be above evil?
Yes, I would think, yes.
Okay, so if you're above evil, why are the children of God inferior to evil and evil people?
Because the people that have the power dictate what's the superiority and its rules. No.
But if you really have God, so-called God, on your side, how can you be inferior to people who are evil?
Because people's that Messiah, I hear you, and I hear you loud and clear. But everybody done made up their own God and their own image these days. So you battling with that, man, and that's enough to make it crazy. I tend to think as Mosiah Garvey, he said one God, but at the same time one aim and one destiny, and I think the aim and the destiny sort of helps to dictate who that God is. No.
Okay, so the reason why I say this is because our people are in a state of inferiority
mentally.
And August 17th is a day of superiority for our people, particularly people of color. We're going to have the first RBG human flag ever documented of 10,000 people. Now, I'm serious. We're coming strong with this. We're going to compete, combat, and beat the USA human flag number, which is 6,000. We're shooting for 10,000.
Okay.
And also, this day is a day of resource, meaning a day where people can come, get themselves a job, learn some entrepreneurial skills, get some other things, maybe even win a free car on this day.
Even health care, maintenance, and all sorts of things. Yes. It's going to be a great day. And everybody's supposed to wear red, black, and green, and we're asking everybody to wear red, black, and green on the 27th. When you come out, we got to stop this. We got to realize, be able to look at each other and see what each other got on, and say, "Glory, glory, glory! God bless you. We are one."
We also understand that we are African people, and Africans all over the world have traditions that transcend white supremacy.
Yes.
including how we celebrate and how we dress and how we honor our important occasions.
Yes, you know, my biggest problem has always been that they wouldn't declare Swahili to be the international language of Black people, so that we could have all been able to communicate with each other.
Well, when we get organized, we can declare whatever we want.
All right.
So if I may, I like to let people know how they can register.
Go right ahead.
They can go to Google and put in RBG Human Flag Day. Again, on Google, search RBG Human Flag Day. The first thing happens, everybody will
Malcolm to celebrate his birthday, and we want to talk to you about it. Next week, we're going to have you to get to debrief us on what happened there. Thank you so much, Mosiah Fit.
Thank you all.
And the Black Wolves, we thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Amino and Mr. Rafiki, thank you for coming.
Oh, thank you for having me.
And I will be there on Saturday. I might try to peep my head in there that Friday. I started my treatment, so I hope to be able to come in. I get energized. My doctor says, you need to take off from school. You need to maybe take a little break. And I say, well, if everybody's saying you're doing too much, you need to be still. But you know what? I found out when I sit at home, I start worrying about myself, and I start crying, and I start thinking, why me? Feeling sorry for myself. But when I'm with my kids or when I'm out in public, I forget about myself. Yes, and that's where the healing comes. The healing doesn't come not only in the medicines that the doctor gives us. The healing comes from when we give, because when we give, we receive. And when we receive those blessings and that healing that comes to our souls is better than medicine.
And it's important to remember that if you stress speeds up any dis-ease that's going on in your body.
That's absolutely right.
And if any people want any additional information about the African Liberation Day, go to the Maryland Council of Elders Facebook page, and everything is there.
Give it again, Maryland Council of Elders.
The Maryland Council of Elders Facebook page.
Okay.
All the information is there. And it's very important that not only you come, bring your entire family.
Yes, all the children, even little children you don't know down the street and stuff. Ask their mom if you can bring them, and try to get them. Everybody wear red, black, and green. This is what we finna do. All kinds of things to put on your cars, flags to put in the windows of your homes. We finna brand this city, let them know we are one as a people. God bless you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much. Well, we're getting up on the hour. Doc, you ready to pull up to the bumper?
Slow but sure.
Amen. Well, we're thankful for this opportunity again to come before you, and we're going to get right into our show. We have 8 minutes before we have to go take a station break. Baltimore. Here we are. The state of the city. I would like for Mr. James Morant to open this up and talk to us, because as I was speaking to him and speaking to Richard and speaking to Leo and Doc, I always can't seem to catch you. I know you be ripping and running and stuff, but we wanted to talk about the state of the city and the lack of accountability. I read an article this morning from NP Radio, wasn't NPR, that talked about the long history of corruption that is in this city and how it just seems to go on year after year. And we are seeing it today as our mayor has simply resigned in scandal, and the mayor before her should have resigned in scandal. Hey, Larry, come on in here. What you doing? Come join me. Can you give him a mic? Can he talk to us? Can you hook him up? No? How was I see Larry Young in the back? I'm getting jealous because you was in on their show on Friday. I heard you in there talking to them in there, and you will come in and talk on my show. So I'm about to get a little complex on it. But I'll pray for you. Okay, if you pray for me, you gave me the thumbs up. God bless you. We're praying for you always, Larry. You know that. Wanted to talk about this in the city, and what we're going to do about it. The biggest thing that we're seeing is, for me, is where's all the money going? We've been asking for an audit year after year. I believe Stephanie Rollins Blake had done the audits, and then once Pew got in there, we heard no more about the audits. Those audits were completed. We remember Joan Pratt saying that she didn't have the money for the audits, but then she did have the money for the audits, but the audits were never released. That should tell us everything, because in every situation, am I right, Richard? They say follow the what?
Follow the
money.
Follow the money.
Follow the money. But they won't even let us follow the money. And we pay for those audits. We also pay their salaries. But there is this mentality within the structure of the city that they're doing us a favor, and we allow them to treat us like that. And it's wrong, it's wrong, it's wrong. But only we can stop it. James, what are your thoughts here?
Well, you opened this segment with something that is really a pet peeve of mine. You talked about an article that had been written about Baltimore. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I often go a little berserk about is that everybody else tells our story. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The media portrays us as totally out of control. And
control says us, or
the city
right? Okay.
Out of control.
Mm-hmm.
And we allow that to happen. People have gotten their PhDs over studying the problems in Baltimore. So what do we have now? We have a new mayor. We have cyber attacks. We have 22 homicides in 20 days in Baltimore. We have the controversy over the Preakness and where it's going to be and who's going to invest in it. We have massive corruption at the highest levels in the state and in the city. And we have, I think, a form of apathy which we need to combat as much as possible. There are some good things happening in Baltimore, but they don't get the notoriety that other things do. Mm-hmm. We have the Broadway Market, which was set up, opened last week, but we have food deserts in Doc Cheatham's area. Mm-hmm. So there's a redistribution problem in Baltimore, and something needs to be done about that.
What do you think? Well, what do y'all think now? Let me get right to one that I just heard piqued my ears, and I understand what you talk about by people who write about Baltimore, but it seems like our press does not really keep still on the fore. So sometimes it's the outside that looks at us and says, "What the hell is going on down there?" And they write about it. And while we might take a bridge to it because we feel somewhat inflicted or damaged by it, the truth is nonetheless the truth. And I think that we should be a little more realistic. I was listening this morning on Larry's show where it was told that the state has gave them the county $40 million for their air conditioning, to fix their air conditioning system. And the one condition for it was that they would be able to scrutinize and to audit what they do with the money. And the county sent the money back to them because they didn't want the state involved in scrutinizing their money, the way that they spend their money. Do we have that here?
Of course we do.
We do?
Of course we do.
We can send money back?
They've done it. It was many years ago they had something like $60 million earmarked for the heating in this, allegedly for the heating in all of these schools, but because they didn't do the paperwork correctly, they had to return that $60 million back to the state, if I remember correctly.
But that was paperwork. That wasn't saying get out of you. This ain't we ain't letting y'all in our business.
Whenever there is the question of this governor, and this is where we get into ideology again. Mm-hmm. Whenever this governor says, I need to oversee what you all are doing in order to make sure that the money is going where it's supposed to, the whole legislature bucks him and says, no, you won't either.
Why do you think that is?
It's ideology.
Is it ideology or a lack of accountability on the people that fight him?
It's ideology that starts it, but it's also they don't want anybody to see what they're doing.
That's what I think it is.
Well, we have a new inspector general supposedly in Baltimore that is going to root out fraud, abuse, and waste. That is the big organizational change as far as I understand it. I think her name is Miss Cummings.
For Baltimore City?
For Baltimore City, yes.
Well, she's appointed by the mayor, is she not?
Now, I don't know whether her appointment comes from the mayor, but I suspect that it does.
Yeah, I was told that the inspector general for the city is appointed by the mayor, and as a consequence of the extent to which this inspector general is going to pursue with vigor what the community needs in terms of reform is questionable. And it has been questionable for some time. The office of inspector general has existed for how long, Jason? Hasn't it been around for 10 years? Or what do you say, Doc? Hasn't it been 10, 15 years?
It's been a while.
Yeah, but they never
They never do anything.
Yeah.
They're just there. They're window dressing largely, in that they can't do anything that would impugn the integrity of the mayor's office or the office of the mayor, which should be impugned.
Exactly, because they're hired.
They're hired.
Should that be a position that is elected?
It should be.
It should be.
It should
be. That's what we'll put down on the note. Please make a note of that, because we're going to talk about. So we're talking about solutions. Welcome to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. Don't you touch that dial. We got to go for a commercial. We'll be right back.
WOLB Baltimore and WERQ FM HD3 Baltimore. Brought to you by Live Casino and Hotel.
The views and opinions of the guest and host you hear on 1010 WOLB
are not necessarily those of the staff and management of Radio 1, its sponsors, or advertisers.
Were you planning on going to the event on Saturday?
Which of the event for Saturday? Yes, I am planning on going on to it.
Would you be willing to share with us the time that you're going? Maybe we can all kind of follow your lead and try to get there at the same time.
Yes, sir. Come closer to the microphone.
I was saying it just for
I
us.
know. We're live. I know. I bet y'all be wondering what they be talking about when they didn't shut the mics off. You just heard Doc Cheatham just came up with a great idea. Yes, we will meet there at the same time, and we'll coordinate that.
Yeah, let us know what time you're there.
All right.
I think that'd be an opportunity for folks who haven't seen us.
Yes.
I'll make certain I bring my Uzi in case there's some folks that don't particularly care.
I have red, black, and green.
Yes. Well, you'll notice us by what we're wearing. Welcome back to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. Leo, you were saying?
Well, no, I was just saying that the inspector general's office is one that's it's appointee position, and what happens in those situations is that these people will not take any action. Without
prompting from
the mayor or the mayor's position. They claim that they're independent, and that they don't take stances, but that's not been what I've seen. I haven't seen that in the office of the city solicitor, for example, who's appointed by the mayor.
None of them are autonomous.
There's no such in this city. There's no such thing as an independent agency. Let's be real about it.
Okay.
And two, we talk about Patrick. You mentioned we have a new mayor. No, we've had a mayor he may be new to that office, but he has been in this system for over 20 blasted years.
That's right.
But he has not functioned as the mayor. He's functioned as
he's president of
city council.
But still, he's part of the regime.
Well, that's my opinion as well, but we're going to see what he does as mayor.
Yeah, I'm willing to give him a chance.
I made the statement that Halloween is coming, October 31st. Let's give him his... No, I'm saying, let's see if he's masquerading or what, but let's find out in terms of a report card, Dr. Marvin, Dr. Cheatham, what has he done in the first 6 months? Halloween, October 31st. Let's see that. Let's see that on behalf of the sheriff of the city, John Anderson, who's been in office 35 years, and he has a badges to baseball program operating in the public schools. At least that's what the current mayor has said, and that's been endorsed by the current mayor and Mary Pat Clark, who's outgoing. So I want to know, what are they doing in the public schools with the sheriff's program on badges to baseball, because the sheriff does not weigh in on issues of a crime-fighting plan
pertaining to law.
He has nothing to say about crime-fighting plan in the city, which is
do we have a crime-fighting plan?
It's a travesty.
Great lead-in. That was the next subject we were going to go to, is the police. Now, as we all know, that we have a new police commissioner who, he seems to be conscious. We've been calling in, and I've been calling in about these open-air drug markets, and I call them in, and I tell you, they get there, and I haven't seen them in the last few days. Those blocks are being kept clean, so they seem to be reacting very well to the constituents calling in and letting them know what's going on. But at the same time, 50% of the city's budget goes to the police department.
That's right, and the open-air drug markets are still flourishing.
They're still flourishing, but I want y'all to know that you can call them right now, and they will get out there, and if they don't, just keep calling them, but you can have an effect on it. And I wanted to ask, what about that? If 50% of the budget goes, and then you have the sheriff's department, how much of this budget goes to the sheriff's department? And as they tend to only be visible in the city courthouses daily, but we never see them on the street, never see them doing anything other than driving down the street and delivering eviction notices.
The sheriff's budget is in the range of $14 to $15 million a year. Now, if you know differently, tell us, but he has his own budget. What I'm saying is, as an elected official, the highest elected official in law enforcement, every 4 years, election, he doesn't campaign, he doesn't say anything, he's playing the game. No, he's the darling of the Democratic political machine, and he's part of the foundation of institutional inaction in law enforcement, as far as I see it. He's not an innovative or creative individual who gets involved. He just has a role to play, and his role is essentially that of silence. We don't hear anything from him.
And just for clarification and accuracy purposes, it's a little bit over 1/3 of the budget. It's $560+ million goes to the police department
for Baltimore City.
$2.9 billion budget. So I don't want to make
how much?
It's $560+ million.
And we're the number one in crime in the nation.
Yeah.
What are they doing? What are they doing with the money?
They're under strength because it's by design. You keep talking about they can't hire, they can't find. That's not my problem. Why can't you hire more people? Is it that bad that you can't attract candidates to the office? How do we get so far under strength that the officers that you have are assigned to Roland Park? Where are they? Where are these officers?
Leo,
they're not working in our community.
Leo, this whole thing has been in place for many, many years. That's why they had to go to Puerto Rico to bring in a whole group of officers.
From Puerto Rico?
From Puerto Rico, and we found out they had a problem with some of them up in the Northeastern District maybe about 5 years ago with a problem with a towing scam, if I remember.
Towing scam, big problem.
And they had been brought in from there, but unfortunately, there's been a problem hiring officers across the country because right now there are other departments who are enticing people with perks like take-home vehicles, higher pay, so forth and so on. Here, I think to a certain degree, and I may be wrong, some people don't want to come here because A, they don't feel like they get the support from administrations. B,
they get away with murder here. What the hell else do they need?
I guess they need a whole lot in their minds, but many do not want to come here.
Folks, can I interject here?
Yes, please.
What happened here Saturday in Baltimore City? Did we not have the Preakness here?
Yes.
Where there literally hundreds of police officers
at
that location.
And the overtime.
What happened this weekend in Baltimore City? Anyone know how many crimes and how many shootings we had Saturday?
Well, we lost.
Anyone make that connection where you don't have police and where there are police? Did you hear any shootings in Pimlico this weekend? No. But you did hear.
3 people.
I woke up to the Larry Young Morning Show hearing how many people actually had gotten shot, especially on Saturday. Is there any coincidence, family, that the police were in Pimlico, in the Upper Park Heights area, but they weren't in the neighborhoods that are constantly being bombarded with crime and violence? I'm saying, folks, y'all can disagree with me if you want on this. We need more folks that are on the corners where these drugs are being sold.
That's right.
Where the shootings are taking place. Y'all can find out wherever it is you want to have them. I believe in the Nation of Islam can help us. I believe the National Guard can help us. I'm not asking them to come and be the police. I'm just saying we need more presence to at least curtail what we got this weekend. And it's not going to be curtailed if you keep doing what you're doing, which right now is we're doing nothing. And I say the problem is that it's less than, I say, 20% of our neighborhoods are really negatively affected by crime. Most that are listening right now, you're probably not affected. Those that you hear screaming, hollering like me every day, bringing my blood pressure up, is because we're living this every day. We don't walk out of our doors and not think, could I get shot just by walking out the door? Most of our shootings are during the day, family.
Yes.
We had one last Tuesday. I'm cutting my lawn, didn't hear it because I'm sitting on a lawnmower. I had people running down the street. Man, did you hear the 25, 30 gunshots block up the street from you? This is in the middle of the day. And I'm saying, family, if you don't know what's happening in certain parts of Baltimore City, come take a ride with us. Some of us that are seeing this every day. We need the National Guard here in Baltimore right now.
Doc, I told you all last week that Saturday was going to be the safest area in this entire city. Now, the question that you really need to look at, and I don't think anybody will ever tell you, is how much did the city have to pay out in overtime for that protection that day in that area?
To protect the good white
Can
folks.
I answer that? So for most of the events in Baltimore City, the event organizer has to pay for the additional police support.
Okay.
So if it's an Orioles game, the Orioles Stadium is paying for the additional support.
It
If
comes
it's a
out of
Ravens
the overtime
game,
unit.
correct. But anytime you have a large event like that, you have to pay for that. So
This ain't a money issue for me, folks. Y'all can talk about money all you want. To me, lives are far more important than money. I ain't worried about the damn money. I'm worrying about the fact that my community had 19 homicides. We've had 3 already. I'm saying for those of you that are comfortable living in neighborhoods where you don't feel this every day, there are those of us that are community leaders. If we don't scream out, nobody will.
That's right.
We know that y'all can ride through our neighborhoods. If you live in Ricestown, Randallstown, Columbia Town, and you drive back out at the end of the day because you don't have to live here, but you take our money back to your counties. And we're saying, family, we need to understand this city is under siege right now. I don't know what else you want to call it. We're under siege right now, and it's gonna get worse.
Great lead in again. Absolutely, you're absolutely right, sir. These people come in here, they clog our freeways, they create potholes, and they leave out of here with bags of money, and they leave nothing in the city.
And they talk about like a dog, like a few channels right below us.
Exactly. So why does not the city council think of a commuter tax? 50 cents a week, $2 a month. 50,000 cars come in here every day to get the city out of the people's pockets. These damn speed cameras. I wonder what they're gonna say now. Let's talk a little bit. They say that the ransom, the computers ain't working. I tried to pay my water bill the other day. They say, oh, we can't document your payment. Well, how they documenting them speed cameras right now if the system is down? Yeah, Jason, you look like you're going to keep us on board here.
Well, breaking news is it's been told this morning that Jack Young may be giving in to the ransomware and may be considering paying the ransomware.
Well, so what else is new? He doesn't have any choice,
maybe we can
does he?
pay for it with the parking ticket money and the traffic
No,
cameras.
well, then the police going to get on that because they 44 cents of every dollar goes to the police department that comes from those speed cameras. So you know they ain't going to let them touch their money. So what are we going to do here? Are we going to continue to let these people rip us off? If you drive, and I'm telling you, I'm on it because I drive a lot. When you drive down Cold Spring Lane, if you want to see the discrimination, just stop. You get to Loyola, and see for the speed cameras how many you going to see. Then you see none. Then get down to Lock Raven, and it's 12 on one light. In between Lock Raven and Hillen Road, there are 2 more going each way. When you get to Hillen Road, there has to be at least 10 to 15 cameras on those poles there at Morgan. This is robbery. They're doing it, and with no regard that we're looking up and saying, you people are screwing us, and you expect us not to say nothing about it. Now, y'all can continue to go ahead and let them, but I'm not. Every time I get one of them tickets, I ask for a court date. I ask for a court date, and you should too, because they know where in the world they're going to be measuring whether those cameras are timed properly.
Well, Patrick, they're putting in additional ones. Every time I go up Hillen Road, there seems to be another speed camera that's been installed.
The state made $69 million last year off of speed cameras.
Yeah.
Where does that money go?
Has anybody written on the Baja recently?
What's that?
North Avenue.
Oh, yeah.
Has anybody written on the Baja recently?
Yeah.
All right. The bike boys won't even ride on North Avenue because it says too many humps and bumps. Right. Bring a little levity to it, but that's how bad North Avenue is. Yeah. But you know, 85% of those that have to travel through North Avenue are African Americans.
Of course.
East and West.
When I hear callers calling into these shows, talk shows, many of the callers have substantive, intelligent ideas on how to address crime and violence and education reform. They're not listened to by the powers that be. They're not listened to.
But I don't know if they call the right people. They can call us and tell us about it, but we with you. But you need to call the city council, and you need to have your neighbors. We need to gang up on these jerks because they don't fear you, and they should fear you because without you, they will not be in office, and that's why we got to get into their crawl.
The city council is unresponsive.
Yes, we're going to the phones right now. Welcome to each and every one of you, Mark. Welcome to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. 410-481-1010. Write it down. We're going to be opening the lines. We're going to keep you down to 1 minute. Please give us your commentary and your question. If you have a solution, we're thankful. Go ahead, Mark C.
Hey, everybody. Y'all hitting it all. And I know where some of the police officers, there was 80 of them up there, Patrick. Remember you talked about that? When those students, when they got tired of the students protesting, it was 80 police officers up there that morning.
You're talking about Hopkins. That was Hopkins. We all said the same time. Hopkins.
Huh?
Yeah, you're right.
Hopkins,
it was Hopkins.
And Doc, check this out. I know a couple more of them. I was drop my mom off on 25th Street. It took two officer cars who happened to be white to stop one brother in an old truck on 25th Street. That was two of them just now. Then I seen the car hiding up there somewhere. But I ain't, anyway, y'all hitting everything. But what I want to ask y'all is two things. Do y'all know about the Baltimore City Recreation Doc Spring and Summer Guide, Explorers Edition, mentoring free, clubs free, Valley Boys Club, family fun night, dance classes, modeling, and all that kind of stuff. Do y'all know about that?
I know they're doing it at Liberty. We have quite a program at Liberty Reg, Kim Trueheart. So I know we're doing it there. Yes.
They have Patrick. They have the Parks and Recs. They have a guide, with all this stuff in there. 410-396-7900 is the phone number.
Okay.
They got mentoring and all that. And another thing, the guy on the lieutenant governor, I'm asking y'all remember this. The lieutenant governor came on last show and said that he proposed to North Avenue, and I think the state was going to pay for it, programs and training and different things in the Baltimore City schools. And they told me they'll think about it for a year and get back to him. He said they ain't got back to him yet.
A year?
Yeah,
man. No, thank you. No, we don't know. I didn't know about it, but I tell you, that's another subject. What's the gentleman you introduced to me? You told me about. He comes on right after Larry on Monday. He was on this morning. He's
Andrew Manley.
Yes, Dr.
Andrew Manley.
Yes.
No, his show comes on Mondays and Wednesdays.
Yes, we got to join up with him. What'd you say?
He is the truth.
He is the truth. He is, and we want to start working with him because he's on this education thing, and it's important because I don't care what you worry about today. We got to also think about not only today but tomorrow and our children. And the one way to keep us in this state of malaise is to undereducate our children. So we want to work with him. We're going to keep it moving. We have a line open 410-481-1010 as we go to Stephen. Stephen, welcome. Do you have a question or comment?
I just was going to relay some information to y'all, gentlemen, and good morning to you all.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Yes, and by the way, I'm on Mr. Leo's neighbor.
Oh, great.
We won't hold that against you.
First of all, okay, in the Afro last week, they had it's called an audience concern. It shows 2 or 3 pages of all the money that's allocated for different things in the city.
Oh, really? What was the name of the article?
It's called an audience concern. It was on May 11th to May 17th Afro, beginning on page C3.
Okay. May the 11th, you said? What was the date?
May 11th to May the 17th.
11th through 17th. Okay, go ahead, sir.
Okay, my another thing is, They call him the acting mayor. He's being summoned to a big powwow on May the 29th, if you heard it. I accidentally found it looking through it. It wasn't in the regular part of the Sun paper yesterday. It was hidden in the beach guide. And they're having a big powwow, all these big, and there's some more people coming into saying a big financial firm is relocating to Fort Covington. And that is on May the 29th at 5:30 to 7 p.m.
Open to the public?
It doesn't actually say if it was. It's just they come one. I guess if you got some money, you can come.
Okay.
A lot of money.
It's at South Point 101 West Dickman Street, so I know that's what's going to happen. It's going to mess you out with some money. So yeah, this is going on the, as I say, May the 29th at 5:30 to 7 p.m. at the Port Covington.
Do you have a problem with do you have a problem with the new acting mayor? Well, he's not. He's been sworn in. He's the mayor right now.
Mayor.
He is mayor. So you have a problem with him because it has been noted that he has been somewhat complicit with the Kevin Planks and doing things with the TIFs that were against the best fiscal interest of the city. Do you find is that an issue for you, sir?
Yes, sir. I found that they got time to go to see these people. These people are in it, which is called the Foundation Partners, Wells, the Port Covington, the Urban Investment Group, the Evergreen, and all my sons. So, yes, someone bought that building that Mark C. was always talking about over on the people that own the building where I live at. And so what I'm saying is summer's coming and all these kids are going to be out of school. You think it's murder now. What is...
I know. I agree with you, sir, 100%. It's coming. And what are we doing about it? And what is our new mayor doing about it? I won't try to get a meeting with him because I got some ideas that I think will be very helpful to him. Yes, Leon.
Dr. Andrew Manley, some of you have been listening. He has a rally, does he not, on that same day? Isn't that on a Wednesday? The 29th of May.
We'll confirm that.
At 5:30, he has an education rally at the same time.
At the same time. Nathan, welcome to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People, 410-481-1010. We got an open line. Nathan, do you have a question or comment, sir?
I got a comment. The National Guard are the same people that went to Iraq, went to Afghanistan. They got snipers. They shoot to kill. Anybody who's calling for the National Guard to come into the black community, to occupy our community, to shoot us like we're the enemy, is a traitor to their community.
Oh, well, all right.
Like the Palestinians calling for the IDF to come into Gaza Strip. That don't make no sense at all.
The correct pronunciation doesn't make any sense. If you're going to use the English language, use it correctly. Now, what you got to say, brother? What neighborhood you live in? What neighborhood you live in? What neighborhood did you live in?
Let me finish my comment, please.
What neighborhood do you live in?
Let me finish my comment.
You haven't made one yet. I'm waiting for you to make one.
Finish my comment, sir.
All right. Now, what neighborhood do you live in?
You've been snitching for the last 10 years. You got Freddie Gray killed because you snitched on the community and they killed Freddie Gray.
You mentally disturbed, brother.
That is so amazing. Wow. I tell you what, I wonder what that brother is doing. You just asked for the Fruit of Islam to come out. You've asked for communities to come out. You've asked for people, and to the point, it gets to this point, you all, where you feel helpless, and you have to start asking for things such as the worst thought is that we've got to do something because innocent people are being killed. So I'm not mad at Doc.
And Patrick, again, for clarity, family, so we're not asking the National Guard to come in and to start shooting.
No.
And they don't have the power and the authority to make arrests.
Right.
But we're asking them to be a presence within the neighborhood so that the police can go out there and do the job that they need to do because they're understaffed. You know, they don't have enough manpower to do the crime fighting that they have currently. There was also another comment that was made today, Brother Sekou, and I love you, my brother, but you were talking about the eye in the sky. Anybody that's against, to me right now, any program, because they think it's COINTEL, they think it's part of the government, whatever have you, but a program that has the ability to hold people accountable for murders and possibly in the future curb murders, because people realize I can't get away with anything because the eye in the sky is going to document it. I think that's a problem in our community, is that we have so much distrust within the government that we can't ask for people for help. And we can't ask people to help us with solutions that might work within our community.
I heard someone this morning on, I believe it was Dr. Manley's show, that said the reason we don't ask for help is because these are our own children that's creating all the mess. Chris Irving, welcome to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. Do you have a question or comment? I see you, Richard. I'll come to you next.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So on the heels of that last caller, I take issue with when we see nothing being done, then we'll settle for what was done previously. And what I mean is, we're forgetting that we are on the heels of the Gun Trace Task Force. They were not an outlier. They were indicative of long history of corruption within the Baltimore City Police Department. And yet here we are calling for more police. As Leo said just a little bit earlier, there are programs that work across the city. And I don't mind tooting my own horn with the Lazarus Right.
Yes,
We've gotten over 150 people employed. They didn't just come to get a certificate and sign a sign-in sheet. We've gotten them licensed and employed as certified commercial drivers.
Come on.
We still receive no support from the city.
None.
We still receive no support from the state, to the point that just as of today, I had to decide between taking 3 more people to actually test for their license or doing my job that allows me to take care of my house. So this is where we are. And Doc, I heard you speaking about Safe Streets, and obviously I have the highest regard for you because I know you are in the thick of these things. But I'm also in the thick of these things. Not only here, whether it was in New York or D.C. or wherever I've been, these dynamics are not unique to any one municipality or city. But they are unique to the black community. And what we see in different places that does work is when we rely on the programs led by the people who are impacted by these situations, the people who know them firsthand experience. When we rely on those people to bring the solutions forward that they've seen work, then we get the results that we want. So I think we need to, as was said earlier, really put our eye on the city council and the mayor and some of the agencies that work for them.
Yes.
And say, when you know the programs that work and you don't talk to them, I got a problem with you.
Well, the Catholic Charities, all these people are coming. LBS, all these groups are coming under scrutiny now because all of that money that came in from that youth thing, the people that should have gotten the money didn't get it. And you were one of the prime examples. Go ahead, Richard.
Well, that's the whole thing with that's where the Associated Black Charities came into play. And now that's been under massive scrutiny because of their ties to the former mayor. Now, just briefly, what everybody's talking about, Doc, and everybody else, they say you're bringing in the National Guard. What they're looking at is what's called a strategy of omnipresence. Omnipresence says if you flood an area with enough bodies at a particular period of time, you're going to try to disrupt criminal activity within that particular area. Unfortunately,
can I speak to that?
Yes.
Sure.
And again, first and foremost, I respect the opinions and what's offered because these people everybody has a position on that. My position is one of having been that person in the street on the corners. My position is also that of someone who was an infantry Marine, who also was trained in riot control and all the things that they will bring those people into the community to do because they are not trained in policing, as we've seen with military units who are putting forward places, as was said earlier. What we're not playing out is the actual scenarios that can come about from that. One, when the riots or uprising, however you refer to them, when those occurred, I was on North Avenue. I was on Monroe. I was everywhere where it was going down. And I was talking to them not from the standpoint of being a Baltimore City resident, but from the standpoint of having been an infantry Marine. And I would ask what I would ask these 18 and 19 and 20-year-olds, These are not going to be seasoned military veterans. These are going to be 18, 19, and 20-year-olds from New Jersey, from New Hampshire, places that they're no different than, if not worse than, the police that they're here to replace.
Not used to seeing black people. No, I hear you.
Exactly. In an urban setting where there is discord.
Oh, I'm not disagreeing with you at all, but I'm just saying this is the idea that's being floated.
No, completely understand. Completely understand what I'm and I'm trying to cut it down. I apologize. What I'm getting to is the fact that when we have untrained, unindoctrinated, youthful people with guns put into that situation,
then bad things can happen.
It's a powder keg.
Absolutely. Same thing we're saying about classrooms. When you introduce guns into an environment, sooner or later something can possibly happen that then we'll have to respond to that.
Thank you so much, Christopher, and bless you for all that you do.
Yes, is Chris on?
No, I just
okay. Well, let me put this to you. As you know,
Christopher, City Council.
Okay.
As you know, the sheriff can deputize persons to serve who are qualified. Am I not correct?
Yes.
The sheriff can
deputize. I believe that's in the Constitution.
That's in the Constitution. In the short term, can the sheriff be pressured to deputize people and train them within a span of time, people who are already qualified, to augment the numbers we need to deal with the city crime and street crime and drug markets and the whole 9 yards? Is that a way to go? Is that one aspect of a way we should go? Because I'm very critical of the sheriff for not being a player in this equation at all. Well, he's silent.
Leo, what I do know, and if I remember correctly, I think maybe about a year or two ago, they were trying to bring back former officers who had been less than 5 years in retirement. And they were trying to bring them back under contractual relationship in order to try to beef up the department itself.
More wisdom, they would think.
And what may happen is, Leo, they might try to do it that way, but how do you train them?
All right, hold your point right there. Don't you touch that dial. You're listening to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People on WOLB 1010 Baltimore. Bye-bye.
Stands proud, no fear, it's clear, I believe in you.
The new 1010 WOLB with talk in the day and soul at night.
Do you run, go to the gym a few times a week, swim, or cycle? Are you a vegetarian? Finally, if you live a healthy lifestyle, you can pay less for life insurance. Health IQ is the revolutionary company who's changing life insurance for health-conscious Americans and is the only company with these special savings. Call now to see how much you can save. 855-215-2798. Protect what matters. Do the right thing. Make the one call that could save you up to 41% on your life insurance. 855-215-2798. Research shows healthy activity like running can lower your risk of heart disease, cancer, and diabetes. So why should you have to pay more for your life insurance coverage? Call Health IQ right now. 855-215-2798. That's 855-215-2798. Health IQ is A+ rated on the Better Business Bureau and has issued over $21 billion in coverage. Call Health IQ right now. 855-215-2798. That's 855-215-2798.
New month, same problem. Not enough money to pay that mortgage bill? If you're behind on your mortgage, you may have a new problem this month. Foreclosure. Get a fresh start now. Call Jeff Cerroti to stop foreclosure at 410-999-8000. Set up a free in-office consultation with Jeff Cerroti to get your fresh start. Cerroti and Associates are the bankruptcy specialists. They've been helping Marylanders stop foreclosure and get out from under their mounting bills for over 25 years. New month, time to solve your problem. Call Cerroti and Associates at 410-999-8000 to set up a free in-office consultation. You'll sit down with Jeff Cerroti to discuss your situation. No obligation. But if you do proceed, mention WOLB for a special discount. Call today, 410-999-8000 or FreshStartLaw.com to get your financial fresh start and stop foreclosure with the bankruptcy specialist, Cerroti and Associates. Convenient to the Beltway with free parking. Call Cerroti and Associates today at 410-999-8000. We are a debt relief agency helping people file bankruptcy under the Bankruptcy Code.
The views and opinions of the guest and host you hear on 1010 WOLB
are not necessarily those of the staff and management of Radio 1, its sponsors, or advertisers.
It's done unto you as you believe.
All right, welcome back. We don't have a lot of time left. I tell you, it's been hot up in the room. Y'all should have heard what was going on when it was off the air. You really wanted to know what's going on up in the room. As you know, Doc Cheatham is asking for help. He lives in a community that is besieged by shootings and death. And he walks out of his house, and after mowing his lawn, 25 shots being fired, and he didn't even hear them because the lawnmower was so loud. And having to live in that type of an environment, he's saying we need help. We need physical presence. And someone just posed a question: what was the last time that the National Guard was in Baltimore? And everybody's answer was Freddie Gray, right? And then the time before that was
the riots of probably
1968.
68 riots.
68.
How many people did they shoot then?
None.
And how many did they shoot for the Freddie Gray thing?
None.
So
there's a paranoia of black folks that I feel are not intelligent, that are not looking at what is happening right now today. We're not talking about any program. We're talking about right now. You got adults, senior citizens, who can't go out of their doors. They're afraid to go to the corner store because there's open-air drug markets. They can't go to a food market because there isn't one. We are saying as community leaders is we need something right now. We don't need no program training 20 people. We got 20 people on the corner selling drugs every day. You know, almost every corner that we have, whether it's a liquor store or convenience store, there's an open-air drug market. We need something right now. Yes, I'm amenable to the Nation of Islam coming here. I'm also amenable to bringing a National Guard. Yes, I know it is the worst thing I could think of to come up with, but I don't know how to protect my seniors other than having someone on the corner. And all of you folks that got so much opposition to the National Guard, tell us in Baltimore City when they shot us the last time.
And I'd also like to know when was the last time those people that are protesting the loudest even came out to do something in the community.
Or they even live in the community.
Why am I not hearing anything about the sheriff's office responsibility? Everybody keeps evading that. I mean, where does he's been in 35
all that manpower.
All this manpower, and he can get more. I'm saying he is the insider here. Why are people evading this John Anderson character? I don't understand it.
I got to call it out too as well. I know in Irvington we've asked for the Guardian Angels just to come to walk the shopping corridor. We've asked for the Nation of Islam to walk the shopping corridor.
And what happened?
We haven't gotten anybody yet.
Trust
we did the same thing with Safe Streets 2 weeks ago. We're still waiting for them to return our call.
You will be waiting. Muhammad, welcome to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. Do you have a question or comment, sir?
I got a comment. I know one of you gentlemen had it, got it spot on when you said that the powers that be don't listen to us.
That's right. They don't.
And it's also indicative why I had to wait on here almost a half an hour to say something.
Well, we're fortunate. You're fortunate that we can be here for you to wait. So thank you for your patience.
I need to whip your ass. You know that? I need to whip your ass.
Sir, you already have. You opened your mouth.
That's what you need, to whip your ass.
You need to whip your own every time you open your mouth.
You need somebody to whip your ass.
Well, how? That's violence, man. Why? No. No, I want to ask him. Why are you so violent? Why do you think that violence is the way to solve problems?
Because he's an ass. Excuse me.
Oh, well, okay. Whatever. I guess you dropped him. that whip my ass, man.
He's an ass. He can't help it.
You know what?
Ass-itis. And that's crazy because,
what was that about?
The disrespect. You're a 71-year-old accomplished person in music, gospel music, and here you are talking about.
Man, I had #1 pop hit records. I'm just not gospel. I've had music in symphonies.
Well,
I've done things. And if you go to church,
music.
and he's
he's an ass. Don't waste your time trying
but
to
the thing of it is that this is a kind of sickness that is pervasive in our community. And you could tell he was an elderly gentleman. I ain't gonna say no gentleman. He was an elderly jerk.
He's an ass.
And you know what? The idea that some people want to perpetrate violence is just a sad state of affairs for our people.
There are other idiots who will call.
Manny, welcome to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. I hope. How are you today, sir?
I'm hanging in there, man. It's devastating, what's going on in this world with these politicians here in Baltimore and everything else, But Martin Luther King, he said, nobody can ride your back
unless you bend over. That's right.
They're riding our back, and they think that our eyes are closed. But a person's true character is revealed by what he does when no one is watching, man. We close our eyes when we pray, kiss, scream, cry, and die. Because the most beautiful things in the world is not seen by the eyes, man.
Yes, bless you, my
The
brother.
most beautiful thing in the world is not seen by the eyes. You know.
Thank you so much. We got to keep moving. Archie, welcome to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. You have a question or comment?
Oh, wonderful show, Patrick. Wonderful show. This is Archie, man. I just wanted to backtrack a little bit off of what Jason was saying, how the Eye in the Sky will also be a community piece as well. It's not just going to be a police piece, but it will be a community piece where community will integrate this thing. It will be a bias piece where community will have more access to it than the officers, because it's about saving our city. It's about helping saving our city. And to the brother that said that you requested, all these different organizations to come to you and they didn't come, man, listen to me. Sometimes you don't have time for it. Right out my front street, I had to break up a 30 brawl. You understand? There's only two of us trying to break it up. So let's be real clear. Who wants to really save the city and who wants to not help? Because people stayed in their house while 30 people rampant raid all morning and 3 o'clock in the morning while people was in their house. I know everybody heard this, but you see, the fear is real.
Yes, it's real. Yeah.
But if we don't engage it, then the fear is going to get critical.
Did you read the book 1984? Did anybody here read
Yeah,
1984?
I know it back well. I know it very well.
Are we living in 1984 right now?
Yeah. Yes, we
where
are.
the people give up and they don't know what to do, they feel helpless?
Well, they're called unpersons in 1984, and then they're controlled by what's called the Ministry of Truth. And the Ministry of Truth is every last media organ and organization that's out there now. Too many of our neighborhoods, especially in the city, are now held hostage.
Yes, right. That's exactly what it is. Thank you so much, Archie. Your thoughts are well taken. Let's go to David. David, welcome to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, I keep hearing a lot of talk about police and National Guard, but no one is paying attention to the jails. The jails create lawlessness because they want to have a revolving door. I know I used to work there. After 2 years, I walked off the job because I did not take that job to create criminals. There's a lot of corruption. Because I remember one time I wrote up an inmate for having a cell phone. They told me he could not be charged because his cell phone did not have a battery. I mean, come on. So if I have a gun and I have no bullets, then you can't charge me for a gun. So the jails is a big part of this problem here.
It is. You know what? And thank you so much. When O'Malley arrested 1/6 of the population, over 100,000 people, I know so many young guys that were clean as a whistle when they went in there, and over half of them are now in prison.
Well, Patrick, you know what they call the euphemism for juvenile facilities are, don't you?
No.
Gladiator school.
Preparation, huh?
For preparation.
Yes, for future crime. Diane, I'm sorry, Diane, how are you, sweetheart? I didn't see that I in there.
Hi, Patrick. How you doing? And how to the rest of your panel?
How you doing?
Good morning.
I'm doing
Afternoon,
well.
Diane.
I'm doing well. I heard someone said about their seniors not being able to walk, in throughout the communities and stuff. That is one of my main goals is for the seniors and the children. And I feel, and people might feel different from me, I feel I don't want no National Guard. I'm serious, because we don't have a plan. If we had a plan, we would have had a plan after 2015 when the uprising was here, after the National Guards left. What was the plan to follow that? Crime got worse in Baltimore City right after the uprising. It was a take in the murder rate, and it has not ceased since 2015. It looks like it goes up every year by a couple of numbers. It's still in the 300s. I feel that it's a lot of elements that would have to play the part. And that's men walking in out in their communities talking, and the children don't have to talk back to you. But if they get to see you every day in the communities, they'll start talking to you. Because I talked to them, and at first they wasn't talking back to me, and I got angry, and I talked to God. God said, that's not about you. It's about them. They call me Mom now. How you doing, Mom? Do you need any help? But they know that I'm not playing.
Relationships.
You cannot come in my court and do what you're doing.
Diane, I'm sorry to have to cut you off. Absolutely, but there's a two-way street, and you finally said it. You finally do it. Now they call you mom, but they had to learn to respect you, but you also had to learn to respect them. And that's the missing link. We're going to go to Jimmy. Welcome to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. We got lines 410-481-1010. 410-481-1010. Please feel free to call in. Well, Jimmy, you have a question or comment?
Yeah, I have a comment. First of all, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Are you aware of the fact that P.D. King put a bill in Congress to keep the Nation of Islam out of all the public housing?
Yeah, that's old. He did that was some time ago. No.
Yeah.
Peter King from New York, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, but it's still in effect.
Oh, it is. Okay.
And you can't get money for the Nation of Islam, state, city, or federal money.
The stigmatization of the Jews against Farrakhan because they say he's anti-Semitic. They've just kicked him off of Facebook too. So go ahead. Thank you for informing us that.
Yeah, but the Nation of Islam, Farrakhan has nothing to do with the Nation of Islam security. As brothers in the Nation of Islam have the security.
Is that true? Can anybody verify that?
Pardon me?
How do you separate them?
I think a security force was called the Fruit of Islam at one time.
At one time.
Okay.
It's still the FOI.
It's still the FOI.
It's still the FOI, Fruit of Islam.
FOI, but are you understand that we are in a different neighborhood every weekend?
No, nobody knows. We'd love to. Where y'all at?
Well, last weekend they was over where the little kids got shot up.
Evanston Village.
Evanston Village?
No, down Monroe and McHenry Street, down that area.
Monroe, McHenry.
Brother Jimmy, can you answer this? So it seems like there's just not enough of the Fruit of Islam to go around throughout the city and answer to the call of many of these neighborhoods. Is that correct?
I'm on a bad phone. I can't hear. Will you repeat the question?
I was saying it seems like there's not enough resources from the Fruit of Islam to go around to many of these neighborhoods that are calling for their assistance and their help. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Yep. All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. But I tell you what, I don't know why they're not growing. I don't know what's going on. But I know when we tried to get them to help us over there on
Dofield?
No, up there at the gas station at Amoco. Garrison in Maine and Liberty. The mosque was right next door, and when we called them and asked, they told us to call the police.
Look, can I make a comment? We've had a lot of discussion about the need to have people come in and police our community because we feel under siege. What responsibilities do the old people that can't walk down the street, do they have a responsibility? I mean, the problem is complex because we have a corrupt police system. We have people who are afraid to snitch. And so we're sort of trapped in this endless cycle. And I can't figure how even if you bring in the National Guard, how you get out of that cycle. Well, and who's going to answer that
I'm
question?
I'm going to tell you, this is an interesting point you just brought up. You remember not long ago that cop, this kid was shot, and he lay in this cop's arm, and the cop says, just tell me who did this to you so we can do it. And the kid closed his eyes and died.
And wouldn't do it.
Would not tell who had shot him. Now, people say he did that because he didn't want his family to be in danger after he was gone. Or is that just the code of the street?
Both.
So how do you get out from under that? That's my issue.
We have to think in terms of patrolling our own communities, and I know that's a tremendous challenge for a lot of people, but that concept of patrolling your own community engenders a kind of sense of community and understanding that you have to have that concept available. You're not taking over the role of the police, but you have to do it.
Close to home fair. Any one of y'all got neighbors are going to walk out their doors and protect your neighborhood? And I think the answer is going to be no. I don't think any of us have neighbors that are actually willing to go outside of their neighborhoods, put their life on the line, and protect your neighborhood.
Not outside the neighborhood.
I don't know too many people like that.
And when the businesses try to do it, the merchants end up getting assaulted and beat up in the process.
Yes, they are. We've seen
it in everything.
Yeah, we've seen it in Dorfield.
I understand that, but that still hasn't resolved
all
my
I'm asking us
question.
to do is, right now, you have people who can't come out of their own doors.
We got you.
Okay, and I'm saying, what are your solutions? I'm hearing opposition to this and opposition to this. You don't like my ideas. What are your ideas? I'm not talking about 2 weeks from now. I'm talking about right now. What do we do right now to make our community safer?
And you see, here's the problem, Doc.
No, I don't want to know the problem. I want to hear a solution, not a problem.
What I'm saying
what is solution? You guys don't live in this kind of neighborhood I'm in.
The solution is to get draconian on the entire problem, but there are too many who do not want to go to that level, and that's where that blasted consent decree comes into play.
Okay, I think we might be on the same page there. We got to do something more than what we're doing.
And I spoke about the sheriff's office, and we haven't addressed that.
Unused manpower. Unused manpower.
The sheriff's office, and that hasn't been addressed.
You and I both been screaming about the sheriff. I even called the sheriff. I want to say it was just before last election.
Right.
The answer is he's not only not going to respond, but not going to do it. So I'm saying, in being realistic, if he's not going to answer and not going to respond, do we keep saying, let's keep asking him, let's keep asking him?
No.
I'm asking for a solution, guys.
I say the new mayor needs to call him and tell him to get on his job. His responsibilities are spelled out by the state.
Mayor cannot direct the sheriff.
He can demand, the city council can demand that the sheriff's office and any citizen can demand that the sheriff's office, which is funded by the state of Maryland, be responsive.
Why do you
Just
say
the same as you can demand that the National Guard be utilized.
The police commissioner.
I'm not against
that. The sheriff would be directed by the mayor, and I said no. The sheriff cannot be directed.
Well, who directs the?
Hold on, I'm going to ask him who does. Yes,
it has to be the council. It has to be
the city council.
It has to be a decision that's rendered by a group that the mayor signs off on, but you just can't. We just can't keep arguing.
Right.
We've been arguing since June of last year. It's almost 11 months now. We're saying very clearly. I think we all agree. We would like to see the sheriff and him doing it. I'm saying, guys, in the absence of that, absence of that,
call on the governor.
What is your solution?
The solution is for individuals in those communities to begin to come out of whatever shell they're in. And I understand the threat. I understand the fear.
Yes.
But we have a system that is inherently, I guess, corrupt. But in order to rid yourself of that particular corruption, somebody's going to have to stand up and perhaps make a sacrifice.
Brother Haki, welcome to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. Do you have a question or comment, sir?
Yes, sir. I have a comment.
How you doing, sir?
One thing, and greetings to everybody that's in there. I'm not
Good afternoon, sir.
Doc and Leo and to you, Pat, and I think.
Thank you. Come on. I'm trying to get you in.
You know, one thing I wanted to
Thank you,
mention that we certainly have to have, all different organizations must have a level of respect, in our tone, temperament, and intent in terms of how we address, particular issues in our community. Now, when I say that, I'm not speaking about anything specific, but what I want to say, since I knew a brother that was previously incarcerated, and I knew that he'd done like a lot of work, prior to him joining the Safe Streets campaign, I knew where his heart, where his intent, and his consciousness, his integrity lie. And that's Brother Imhotep, and he's been working certainly in the Sandtown area. And I would encourage
tell Imhotep Doc Cheatham's still waiting for his call from 2 weeks ago.
Sir,
you called that the right name, brother. Tell Brother Imhotep, Doc Cheatham, who he spoke with 2 weeks ago, still waiting for him to return my call.
Okay. Well, I mean, and
we're talking about the same brother.
I respect you, of course. I would hope what I can do. Certainly, I would love to be, to act as a media. I don't know if you know the brother from before. I mean, I've known him like years ago, and I didn't even know he was a part of Safe Streets until I went to City Hall.
Yeah, but Save Streets has just been so questionable over the last few years too. So I got to go, Hakeem.
Doc, I know him. I know
yeah,
Imhotep.
So
I know you.
We would welcome you. I'm sure Doc would welcome any support he could
I
get.
had to welcome the fact that I reached out and called him 2 weeks ago.
And he has not responded.
Has not responded. And
William
promised me that he would.
William, welcome to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. You've only got 30 seconds. Please come quickly, sir. Thank you for calling.
Okay, thank you. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
The comment I have is, I used to own a home in Irvington, too. The people that we're talking about, man, they're not people who are looking for jobs or anything. They're homicidal maniacs, man. And I agree with Doc. We need the National Guard to come in. Ordinary people, it's not their job to confront these people, man. And then also, the people in the Baltimore City government, all they do is play musical chairs. All of them need to be voted out. I don't know what we're going to do about the voter apathy in Baltimore, but it's another thing. Have any of you ever rode along, asked for a ride along with the police? Because I hear y'all get on the police a lot. How about taking a ride with the police?
Would love to.
I've done it before.
All police are not bad.
We're not saying that. We're not saying I
talking
agree
about
with
the institution of policing.
No,
we didn't
we're
say
not,
every
we're not
individual
saying
officer.
that. There are some great ones, and there's some, man, that just not work. Yes.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Thank you.
Patrick.
Yes.
We talk about the National Guard. There's one fact that we always have to remember. Only the city government can ask the governor to bring in the National Guard. So what we have here are legislators who are very parochial, territorial, however you want to name it, that are afraid to do it. And then you have these individuals, and I'm being polite today, that permeate the Baltimore City delegation and the Legislative Black Caucus and the Maryland General Assembly, who do not have the political will, political guts, or even the seeming intelligence to do what people ask them to do.
I know, man, because they feel like they don't have to. They don't owe us anything.
What about the state police? Is that an option as well?
Again, that same thing comes into play. They have to ask for permission from the governor to bring them in.
Bubby, welcome to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. You got a good one? Quick one?
Yes, sir. Thank you for taking my call. I don't want to get into the blame game. I lay my head down for the past 51 years in Sandtown, Winchester, and we got to deal with the policies that created the conditions. Do not let the police get off their hook. I am against the National Guard. I can walk anywhere I want in my neighborhood. Thank you very much.
Bubby, you still there? He gone. Okay, he called me the other day laughing because they was up there mowing all the green space up near the Preakness.
They do that once a year.
It had been going since last Preakness time. So we got Glord. How are you today, Glord? Welcome to Patrick Henderson Meet the People. Got a question or comment? Come quickly, sir.
Yes. Good morning, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Powerful guys on the thing.
I agree.
And I'm still a community person. I was born in Suntown, Winchester. So I go through the city, so I know what the deal is. And I'm hearing about this was a gang, a group called the 300 Gangsters. If they still exist, at this time, I think they would be more adequate in going out there on the street in these different areas to deal with those boys.
I think they would be great.
When I was growing up, they used to kick a lot of the young ones out of the house because they had guns, they had weapons. So now the street is raising them. They are wild.
Have we heard from PFK Boom in a while? I got to call him.
I know he's working at night.
Is actually working with the young men, the ones that were called the Squeegee Boys.
Thank you, sir.
And a few other groups. They're down there off of Fulton Avenue doing car wash, car repairs.
Oh, yeah?
Changing brakes, things of that nature. They even have some young females there as well that were kind of out there in the street.
Right.
So he's working with a large group now, and I just encourage folks to go out and support them. Get your cars washed and get your
where's the location
done. I know it's down off of Fulton Avenue. It's down there by the crab place. I gotta get the address. I
get that
address.
I'm assuming he's got to be in South Fulton, not North Fulton.
Yeah,
I'm assuming it's got to be South Fulton.
Yeah.
He's more closer.
Welcome
to
to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. Yes, sir. You're online. Do you have a question or comment, sir?
Yes. How y'all doing?
We're doing great. Go ahead.
First, I have to say, what black people, what we're going through, royal black people, we're going through witchcraft right now, and it's being formed that is in a different way. Like, we had the police officers they going off of computers to tell them where to go at and all that. That ain't nothing but a crystal ball.
Oh, my brother. All right. Thank you for your commentary. Sandra, welcome to Patrick Henderson's Meet the...
And they asked me why I drink.
He was from Uranus.
Uranus?
No,
Sandra?
Uranus.
No,
I
got
got
one better.
Do you have a question or comment? Well, I'm sorry, sir. We hate to laugh at you, but that was funny. Go ahead. Come on. See, be nice, guys. Go ahead.
This is Sandra.
Yes, ma'am. Cassandra, hi. You have a question or comment? Come quickly.
Yes. I say do what you have to do by any means necessary. We need to clean this up and suffer the consequences later, whatever it might be. I happen to be a senior. We have drugs in the building. Seniors can't go out on the front and sit because they shoot around here like they're at the OK Corral.
What building is that?
She don't want to tell somebody go looking for her. Go ahead.
This is downtown.
Okay.
Broadway.
Okay.
A brand new building. I've been in it since it was open up. We've had drugs in here since the doors open.
Unbelievable.
And it's still here. And the outside, they shoot up around here. We have cameras and everything, but they act like they're not out there.
Broadway and what?
She said it was on Broadway.
On Broadway.
On the east side.
And you call the police and they do nothing about it.
Nothing.
Unbelievable.
That's not
I hope the police department is listening.
That's the problem.
Thank you
Even
so
if you
much.
brought in the National
So we
Guard,
understand
what would that
All
accomplish?
around Baltimore City, what we need to do is whatever you have to do it and suffer the consequences later.
That's what Malcolm X said too. And we wish him a happy belated birthday. You've been listening to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People on WLB. All together, boys, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
We'll see y'all next Monday at 11:30 here on WLB, and every Sunday at 3:30 on WIN. You've been listening to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. Have a great week.
WOLB Baltimore and WERQ FM HD3 Baltimore. Brought to you by Live Casino and Hotel. Talk in the day. Soul at night on the new 1010 WOLB.
Hello, this is Larry Young of the Larry Young Morning Show, and I appreciate you listening to my show every Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. How would you like for your voice to be heard on WOLB 1010 a.m.? Call Kia at 410-907-0328. The cost is very reasonable, and it will give you an opportunity to have your very own show. Give Kia a call at 410-907-0328. Welcome to the family.
Did you miss breakfast with the Larry Young Morning Show? We got you. Have lunch with Labor every Tuesday, 12 until 1 o'clock on WOLB 1010 a.m. David and you and labor issues that matter.
Lunch with Labor every Tuesday, 12 to 1 p.m. Labor issues that affect and matter to you. Tune in every Tuesday, 12 to 1 p.m. on WOLB.